Every story naturally comes to some sort of ending, whether that takes 7 seasons or it takes 3 movies. At some point, stories end, as they should. That's a fundamental part of storytelling, beginning, middle, and end. And if stories don't end, they often drag on too long to a point where you're wondering, why are we still here? Why is this still going? Why is this still being made? And I want to talk today about the beauty of finality. Arcane Season 2 got announced, and I was super excited about that. I'm very happy and very excited for this show, and I was also very happy that they announced that Season 2 is the last season of the show. And I love that. I love that a story like that can be told in 2 seasons and they can say, that's it. This is the story, it's gonna conclude, and the story that we wanted to tell will be wrapped up and it'll be finished. Because there's something beautiful about knowing that something's going to end. Knowing that at the end of that season, that's all you get, and there's no more, and it's just, you have to just live with that. And I think you cherish and you hold on to that thing even more because you know you only have so much of it. If the story were to continue for an infinite number of seasons, well, at some point, I mean, it can be great, it can be the best show ever, but at some point, things become less valuable the more you have of it. I mean, that's just basic economics. The more there is of something, the less valuable it is. A lot of things that I look at now, I look at Star Wars, I look at Pirates of the Caribbean, where Pirates of the Caribbean had an amazing first 3 movies, and then an okay fourth one, and a pretty disappointing fifth movie, and you look at it and you go, if they just stopped when they were ahead, stopped at that final beautiful ending that they had crafted and just let it be, the image of that franchise would be completely different. But the franchise as a whole is kind of diminished by the fact that the story continued. I think about that with my own work and with my Star Wars fan film, where I made 3 chapters back to back to back. That was a story, and initially that was all I was going to do, and then I made a 4th chapter on top of it. And I think there's also this element to it where I went back and did add to it, but that's because I felt the need to tell that story. It was one of those things where I made the first 3 and didn't feel satisfied with the ending and felt like there needed to just be one more. And then I made that 4th part and I wrapped it up and I said, that's it. And we're done with that story. And so there are times where that is applicable, where there is a little bit more of the story that needs to be told. So revisiting a property and revisiting a story isn't a bad idea. But once you meet that actual conclusion, I think the time comes where you just need to wrap it up and you need to let it go and you need to let the story end. I've been thinking about making a sequel to my last short film, Dreams, but it doesn't feel right because that film ended perfectly. It was a great self-contained story. And so I think what I'll do in the future is make something in the same style, but the story will be different. The story will be a different character in a different setting, in a different environment, and have a different message, different meaning. Because the story of that film is done. The story of that character is done. It's hard sometimes to let go of things, and it's hard sometimes to move on from things, but I think it also adds so much value to whatever that original thing is, to let it go, to let things end, and to find the beauty in finality.